The houses started back in 1989. They started to evolve because of Zachary and Elizabeth Fisher, who are the founders of these houses, of which there are now 45 of them. They never served in the military, but they always wanted to give back to a country that had been so good to them, because he and his two brothers had emigrated from Russia. They were Jewish Orthodox and were looking for a better life. Ended up in Manhattan, were bricklayers, and apparently were phenomenal bricklayers because they ended up building huge buildings in New York and Manhattan, and made millions of dollars and are very philanthropic and wanted to give back. And Mrs. Fisher, she had developed a love for the military because she was an actress in USO. And so as they traveled during World War II to various installations and countries to entertain the troops, she just became enamored with the military. So when they came into some bucks, they were like, well, we're going to give back. And so they befriended Rear Admiral Trost, who was at Bethesda Naval at the time, and his wife Paula, and said, we want to do something. What could we do for you guys? And during that time, the late 80s, you saw Hope Lodges and Ronald McDonald's. They were popping up all over the place. Well, the military didn't have anything like that. So Paula said, well, you know, we could really use something like a Ronald McDonald at Bethesda. And so they thought, what a great idea. So Walter Reed, being 3.5 miles down the road in D.C., they thought, well, if we're going to do one for the Navy, we'll do one for the Army. And they thought that would be it. So in 1991, June and July, they both respectively opened up at Bethesda and Walter Reed, and they were a huge success, so needed. So Walter Reed asked for more, Bethesda asked for more, and then they approached the secretaries of the individual branches of service and said, okay, if we're going to do this, let's do it right, and let's put them out at every major military medical treatment facility. So all the, what we call the MTFs, received them, and Zach and Elizabeth built 27 of these houses out of from their own checkbooks, so their own bank accounts, no one helping them out. Well, unfortunately, Zach died in he died earlier, in 1999, and Elizabeth died in 2004. But their legacy lives on through Ken Fisher, who is a nephew, one of the brothers, those two brothers I was telling you about, one of their kids. And he is just like his Uncle Zach and Aunt Elizabeth, just wanted to keep on giving. And, you know, it's so easy to just go on with your own life. He just turned 50, you know, he's young, he has young kids, but he was like so committed. He loved what his uncle did and said, we're doing this. So now there are 45 houses. And still building strong. So every major treatment, military medical facility has them. Every polytrauma center in the VA system has it. And now community hospitals throughout the United States have them, and they're building on, and just have never said no. This is what they want to do. They want to give back to our military, to our families who've sacrificed so much. And so you will see many more of these. We have 2. Walter Reed has 3, Brooke Army Medical Center has 4.
You know, these are homes where families can come stay while they're standing by their
just like a Ronald
soldier.
McDonald, exactly. So they stay here at no cost. Everything is provided to them. The Fisher House, they developed a foundation because then when they got bigger, they were like, you know, we better do something to protect the integrity of this program. So they started a foundation, which is called the Fisher House Foundation. They build these beautiful houses, but then they give them in perpetuity to the respective branches of service. So the Army, for instance, owns 17 houses in 11 locations, so of which these 2 houses belong to the Army Medical Command. And then the Air Force has theirs. Even though we all are tri-service, we may be funded by a different branch of service, but there's no differentiation between the branches of service. Plus, we take patients of NATO countries that assist us, and they too can stay here. So we have a high population of combat casualties, as well as a large population of regular active duty here that are stationed in Europe who are coming here for medical purposes. And then, of course, we have a large retirement community. So we see a lot of folks come through our hospital. And
how full are the Fisher House?
We stay 100% full.
How often do you turn people away?
Too often. We're looking at hopefully building a third house. We can certainly justify it, so that's what we're looking at. But we stay full. The families get everything that they need here.
So a family gets turned away daily, weekly?
Well, I can't really answer that too well. I just came from Fort Campbell. I opened my 4th house at Fort Campbell. I came from Walter Reed. I spent 15 years there, then to Fort Campbell, and now have the privilege and honor of being here. So I'm not familiar with how many people they've turned away.
But it's significant.
But it's, yeah, it's definitely stands out. So in any case, what we do, we don't just say, oh, sorry. My predecessor had definitely formed good relationships with hotels in the area, and the German community as well as our military community has been phenomenal. So if we can accommodate them here, oftentimes we get pro bono facilities throughout, you know, the local area that will take our families. So we work it. But anyway, they do receive everything that they need here as far as lodging, food, beverages. Everything is at no cost to them. They have to be here, of course, for medical purposes. We prioritize by the severity of what they're here for, and then go down the list. So that's how it works. And they can stay here for as long as they're being treated at the hospital. And once they're released...
That's got to be a real saver.
Oh, it is. And not to mention, you can have your family with you, which is the best medicine.
Yeah.
So...